What if the game you're playing could actually create music? No, not necessarily AI generated music, although technically it is. But I'm not talking about using a neural network or billions of gallons of water. I'm talking about something much simpler, tailored to a gameplay experience. I've been playing and producing music for almost a decade now, and the more I realize, music is just a set of numbers which, when used according to their harmony laws, can create something truly awesome and beautiful. I know musicians say this all the time, and no, I'm not a musician, but it really is that simple. And simple is beautiful. During the development of my first game, Tomorrowness, I wanted the music to be an integral part of the gameplay, something we call diegetic in filmmaking. It's when the music or score comes from the scene instead of just being part of the soundtrack. I've seen some really clever ways to do this, and it got me thinking, what if you had a mechanic where the songs you hear are actually created right there, in the moment? You can tweak parameters, vibes, and feelings and make it yours, but it was created there. I'm not necessarily talking about a rhythm game, although it could be, who knows. But right now, I'm thinking more of the vibe I get when I'm driving late at night, listening to a playlist with songs I don't really know, and everything just clicks. The road, the songs, the lights, and even the other cars seem to be, part of one whole thing, one unique experience. And that moment, you don't think about the artist or the songs or the chords or the production or the instrument of the song. It just becomes the moment, and everything else just fades away. That's the vibe I want to capture. So, I'm starting a new project, one I'd like to call RebelRadio. A game filled with vibes from Cowboy Bebop, Blade Runner, Sable, Star Wars, Outer Wilds, and others. And yes, I do want it to be in space. There's something about playing music and broadcasting it to the void of the galaxy that just, resonates so deeply, man. I put all of my ideas on a Miro board, and I'll share them with you guys eventually, in due time. But now is not the time for aesthetic decisions. After all, form follows function. Right now I want to prototype the most crucial mechanic in the game, the music generation. And so the journey starts with the first step of creating a Unity project. I took some time to carefully implement and program things that I should have done sooner in my last project, Tomorrowness. Stuff like the input manager, camera, UI elements that should work from the word go instead of later on. And I also will be working for the first time with Fmod, which for me as a music and audio producer is amazingly powerful, and I can't believe I didn't use it in my past game. Even simple stuff like reverb, volume control, even track looping, I had to do it manually because I didn't know there was a better option. But whatever, this will save me so much time and open up the possibilities. Then I started the first thing I usually start with when composing and producing a song, the chords. I'm gonna try not to be a mansplainer for those who know a thing or two about music. But for those who don't, it's simple. A chord is made of usually 3 or 4 notes that usually are inside a scale. And so by knowing the scale, usually you can see the different chords you can make up in that scale. Usually. That was probably the worst explanation of musical theory in the universe, but the main thing is chords. Each scale has its own set of chords, one for each note in the scale. So if I take the space between the notes in the scale, we get intervals. And this is where the magic happens. With this, we can set up mathematical logic that can be easily achieved by some simple code. All I needed to do was a bit of grinding and making a lot of lists for each of the scales I want to implement in the game, plus all of the notes on that scale, including the sharps and flats. And I know there probably was a better way of doing this, but honestly, it wasn't the first thing I tried and actually worked out pretty good. So, after this, it was just a matter of getting a simple code randomization process, and boom, we now have intervals. Each of these numbers correspond to a note in the scale, and after another process of translating that into note names, bada bing bada boom, we have a chord progression generator. Let's try... Whole tone is weird, Hungarian minor is kinda weird, major is too bright. Let me like minor, we already did that one. Whole tone, Phrygian dominant sounds strange. Dorian, there we go. Dorian is a nice scale, nice digestible scale. Has 2 chords, they're the same one. See, I'm gonna have to change this because, I mean, eventually you're gonna have, like right now it happened that I got 2 chords and they're the same chord. So yeah, I'm gonna have to change that, but alright, let's keep randomizing. Mixolydian is a good scale, it's nice and centered. 5 chords, and here we go. Let's see what we got this time. Alright, so this time we got 2 repetitives again, 2 repetitions again, so I'm definitely gonna have to change that because it can get a little, I mean, I thought it was gonna be like really, really low possibility, but apparently not. Apparently I've been getting it a lot, and this time I got 2. So it's a 6 chord bar with only 3 chords, and I am gonna put the 7th as a probability, but yeah, let's try that. Let's say that this one got the 7th and this one didn't, and then again this one as well. Let's see, it's an A minor, so this is it. Yeah, let's say that. So we got well-rounded chords. This is a D major, this is a D7th, a G major 7th, an A minor 7th, and then just an A minor. So much more, easygoing chords. Let's see what it sounds like. So yeah, that's a vibe. I mean, I could jam with that. Thing is, I do think the repetitiveness is something a little bit off-putting because it's like you're expecting when the chord sounds, I don't know. I kind of want it to not be the same chord, so I do want to change that. And yeah, but honestly, I mean, it works. So yeah, it still needs some tweaks here and there, but the main idea works. The generator gives us correct chord progressions, which we can use to create the songs. Now it's time to move on to, for me, the coolest process of music creation, the drums. I created a metronome mechanic which will essentially hold the tempo information for the whole game. This will be like the beating heart of the songs. Each drum, chord, lead will follow this script. Next up, I wanted to take inspiration from classic drum machines like the Roland CR78 or the Roland 808, which were pivotal in the birth of genres like hip-hop, house, and other types of electronic music. I started making the prototype of a pseudo drum machine in Unity, which, using what these time-tested instruments use for a grid, and the instrument selector, and the BPM changer and stuff. I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Then, after a few tries and a lot of fails, I got the BPM knot to change the tempo, the instrument selector to cycle between the instruments, and I implemented the grid selection function as well as the ability for it to display the beat we're in. Then, I lined up some samples of kicks, snares, hats, and everything to the project and booted up the pseudo drum machine for the first time. And definitely not after the first try. It worked. It's actually pretty solid and fun. I spent a lot of time just messing around making beats, and every mechanic worked like a charm. We now have the beating heart of our song generator. If you like this style of devlog, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, any ideas, comments, or improvements you guys think of, be sure to leave them in the comments. I may open up a Discord later for you guys to try these prototypes and stuff. Let me know if you like that. And in the next episode, we will get to the chord progressions to play within the beat, getting us a little bit closer to creating songs in the moment. Thanks for watching. See you later.